Right, people, welcome to JG's Fight Talk, and today I've got Dan Naylor. How you doing, Dan?
Yeah, I'm all good. How are you, John?
Yeah, good, thanks, mate.
Good,
Nice,
good.
looks good behind you. Did you pick the decor and stuff?
Mate, none of that is down to me. Trust me. That is not down to me, but thanks.
Same here, mate. Same here. I
Yeah,
don't get a look in.
no.
It'd be awful, wouldn't it, if we took charge of it?
Yeah. I'm a white wall man, so yeah, that's me.
Just a bit of magnolia, that'll do.
Yeah, job done, mate. Job done.
So, where did it all begin, Dan? Where did it all begin?
So the management side, I boxed myself just on the road. I was a journeyman as a pro. I had quite an alright amateur career, but then never just started working, didn't really turn pro. Turned pro about 3 or 4 years later and just thought I'd just hit the road, just gain some experience. Yeah, loved it on the road. And then I thought I had a good manager and I thought I want to stay in the game. I haven't really got time to train someone. I really enjoyed sort of the management side of it, listening to my manager's stories. So I thought, yeah, I'll have a crack management-wise. And there just happened to be a fighter and a trainer nearby me who are really rated in Rylan Charlton. Then, yeah, we just got cracking from there, really.
Yeah. So when we'll go back for a second. You were saying, you went through the amateurs, and you said you went on to be sort of a journeyman, down the line. When did it all begin, boxing for you? When did you
it was about 13, Joel. Yeah, active little kid, mate, not that big, getting in a few scraps here and there. And I just remember this geezer at school. I didn't even know he went boxing, to be fair. And he went, "You think you're quite hard, don't you?" And I sort of puffed a chest out. So I was only 13. Was like, yeah, of course I do. And then he goes, come down to boxing club. So I thought, this is a bit of a challenge. So yeah, got on my bike, got down there that night, and yeah, never looked back really, mate. Loved it as soon as got in there.
So when did you hit the sort of the amateurs? When did you start?
I think I had my first amateur fight about 14, maybe
Okay.
just turned 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, done all right as an amateur, boxed quite well, had quite a few fights, enjoyed it, represented England a couple of times on some squads. Yeah, it's good.
I like how you make it sound so casual, just box for England. That's quite an achievement, mate.
Yeah, it's not too bad, but there's a lot of better kids out there than me. But yeah, I didn't do too bad.
Hey, you've got to be a decent level to get into the England team, mate. Hats off.
Yeah. Thanks, yeah.
So at what age did you sort of hit it into the pros then? When did you get to that?
So I started like full-time work. It was about 22. I had to make a decision really, get a job or go pro, and I weren't really too sure if I was going to anyway. I made the decision not to, and then I ended up going pro a bit later, a couple of years later, like 24, just on the road. I didn't really, where I'd been out of the ring for a while, and I didn't really like the idea of having to graft, selling the tickets. And I had a couple of mates who I was speaking to, journeymen, and they were sort of like, look, you're better than a journeyman, but if you want to crack on the road, you'll be decent. My first year as a pro, I had 13 fights. So, yeah, I was flying for them week in, week out.
13 fights in your first year?
Yeah, in 1 year, yeah. Manager kept me nice and active, Carl Greaves, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I don't
Yeah.
know. That's mental. So you were literally like every month you were being chucked out, basically.
Yeah, all the time, mate. Yeah, I was just, I couldn't get enough of it. I was loving it, training. I was training with Frank Greaves and Johnny Greaves. Johnny Greaves was a journeyman, had 100 fights. Brother is actually a really good trainer, Frank. And yeah, I was just training all the time, super fit. I was massive for the weight. I was like super feather, but I'm like 5'10". But I was eating so healthy, and I was just on the phone to my manager, get me a fight whenever you can, I'm ready to go. And I loved it. It was getting me on big shows. Yeah, it's brilliant. Couldn't ask for more. I didn't win many, but yeah, I was active, put it that way.
How did you find it with recovering then between fights? Because that must be quite, demanding.
Yeah, I lived quite a healthy lifestyle anyway. As soon as I turned pro, and very good with my food. And that. Don't get me wrong, after a fight, I'd have a little blowout either on the way home or the next day, and then it was just back to work Monday. Because when you're on the road, you can't blow up between the fights. The phone could go on a Thursday. Do you want to box on a Saturday? If you're 6, 7, 8 pound above the weight, it's just isn't happening. So you always had to be like 4 pound around the weight, or you get the call and you just have to say no because you're too big.
Yeah, no sort of Ricky Hatton moments.
No, there weren't a week of Indians, kebabs and Guinnesses, no.
Oh mate, I don't know how he did it. To get to the state that he was in, and then to trim himself right down.
I spent 2 years living in Manchester, Joel, and I had the pleasure of going in his gym quite a few times when he was with Billy Graham. I watched him do the 15 rounds. I don't know if you remember it. Before a fight, do 15 rounds on the body bag and on the pads. The pace was incredible. I'd never seen anything like it. And the gym, the heating was fully up. He was sweat suited up as well because he was so big for the weight. And it was just so intense. 15, one of the best things I've seen training wise. Just, it was mad, proper mad.
I loved him as a fighter. You know, I know people used to take the piss, you know, when he used to, between fights, you know, the blowing up and coming back down. But there was no one, in my opinion, that delivered a body shot like that guy. It was unreal, wasn't it?
No, and in person, like in the training, you see him hit that body bag, and it was huge, the body bag. And Billy was still feeling him through it. Brilliant body shot. And he was an all-round, he was brilliant for boxing. I mean, persona out of the ring. When I saw him in Manchester, massive queue, hammering it down. Clearly had a few drinks. Obviously, the doorman noticed him, was like, "Oh, come on, Rick, don't worry about the queue." And he's like, "No, I'm just like everyone else. I'll queue at the back." I mean, there aren't many, even low-level pros who do that. And he was soaked through, you know what I mean? But he was just one of the lads. So.
Yeah. And you think his boy now, in a couple of weeks, I think he's on the Dillian White card, isn't he?
I think they've got him out on that one in Gibraltar. Yeah. So, yeah.
He looks a spitting image, doesn't he? And sounds just scary.
Yeah, he does just look like a little mini Ricky, yeah.
I hope he does well.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to you, mate. So you left the pros, you know, being a journeyman, and then management. So
yeah, I wanted to stay in the game, and I just thought I used to speak to my manager Carl Greaves. He's just had a great win with David Abiesian, obviously the other week. And brilliant stuff. And I thought, I fancy a bit of that. I think I'm good at speaking to people. Built up some good connections in my years on the road, and thought, I'd be good at this. I'm good at negotiating, good at speaking to people. So it's just something kept me into boxing and something I wanted to do and have a crack at. Yeah.
No, and as you say, you've landed on your feet with Rylan Charlton, mate. That's a hell of a person to have. You know, I know he was unlucky the other week against Marku, but you know, going into that fight, he seemed to just, I don't know, he seemed to turn the crowd into his favour. Like, and Marku's got a massive following, isn't he? It's ridiculous. You know, the Albanians come out of the woodwork, don't they? And it's frightening. But Rylan Charlton just, I don't know, he managed to turn the tide, didn't he? And we're going, I reckon he's going to knock out Marku. I was convinced he was going to go and do it. You know, I bet you were as well. You know, he's got this power through his size. His power's unbelievable.
I had 100% faith in him. We knew, look, he's not a welterweight, never has been, never will be. Took Joe Laws at short notice and dispatched him quite comfortably.
Yeah, brilliant fight.
It was a good breakout fight for us. We got told about the matchroom deal, but part of the deal was fighting Florian Marku first. Again, it was at welter, but he loves it, Charlton. He isn't a welter. He's a super lightweight all day long, but we were up for the challenge. And honestly, Joel, I was 100% confident. But Florian done really well on the night. And you said about the Albanian support, got a massive shout out to them because they've shown nothing but love to Rylan afterwards. There was a bit of needle before, backwards and forwards with their fans and English fans, but afterwards, full respect to the Albanians. Nothing but love towards Charlton. I actually think they'll be on his side as well in the future, obviously, as well as Florian, who looks like he's going on to bigger and better things. And on the night, full respect, boxed really well. And the size difference did show as well. But yeah, full respect to him and his fans.
Yeah, Rylan gained a lot of respect that night. I think generally, I think a lot of people said, "Oh, Joe Laws, he kind of, it was one of those things, change of opponent." People always chuck excuses in, don't they? And it is annoying because, Rylan trains hard. You can see by the way he looks, he's in incredible shape. And, he just got even more respect for me in that Marku fight. I thought, top bloke. And I've seen him talk in other interviews and stuff. And he's just such a gracious guy.
Yeah, he's great. I said to you a couple of weeks we'll get him on with you, but really is a nice guy. I know people always use it, nicest guy in boxing or whatever, but he's different to a lot of other fighters. You get him calling people out, slating people. He's just not into that. He's just a chilled guy. But when he's in that ring, he's got serious power and he does want to hurt you. I think it's more scary when someone's that chilled and then they get in the ring and all they want to do is come forward and damage you. But a lot of fighters see a loss as such a negative. I actually think this is actually the start of his career. I know it sounds crazy, but I think people will say, look, Rylan Charlton showed a lot of heart, a lot of courage. So 2 fights at the weight above, won, lost one. Now we're going to see him at 140. And I really feel a little breakout fighters coming. He'll explode on the scene now at 140 and hopefully be on some titles.
Yeah. When do you reckon you're going to look? I know it's still early days after the last fight, but when do you think he'll look to get back out again?
Like I say, he's still signed with Matchroom and they loved him. He's great TV. He's a TV fighter. His style is pure excitement. Forget records. Yeah, he's got a loss on there, but it's not about fighting.
AJ's got a loss. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's not about fighting journeyman anymore anyway. It's about exciting fights. And we'll sit down with them, but I believe they'll give us a good fight just after summer, around summer. And at 140, and we'll see what it's really about then when he can use his strength and power to his advantage. And I think he'll be a different animal at 140. We're going to work on a few things. And I think he's going to be a bit quicker on his feet, and you'll see how big he is at 140, and he'll be a real good talent at 140.
Yeah, no, 100%. As he had me that evening. I thought he was quality, and a lot of people what I'd spoke to turned around and said, top bloke. He's got in there and he's taken the challenge, and hats off to him. And there was moments in there, Marku won't admit it, but there were moments in there when he hurt him, and that, hats off to him. I look forward to the time he's out next. But now we'll move on to I would say Chico. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, my other man, Andrew Colquhoun.
Yeah. When's he? I watched one of his fights earlier. I think it was one of the amateur.
I hope it weren't with me. He sparked me out as a pro.
I don't think it was.
Yeah,
I'll have another look.
Good.
I'll have another look.
Yeah.
What colour shorts were you wearing?
Yeah, no, forget that one. But Andy's a great guy. He's been out of the ring for a little while now. Can really fight. He's already got 17 fights under his belt, so he's an experienced campaigner. He's not looking. No warm-up fights for Chico. Colquhoun's going straight in, looking for an 8-10 rounder. We're working on a few bits at the moment. I've made it quite clear that he's after Luther Clay. Luther Clay needs a comeback fight after his loss to Chris Congo. Put up a good fight. Respect to Luther. He works with a great guy as well, Al Siesta, who I'm looking to speak to soon, and hopefully we can get that fight made over 8 rounds. I think that would be a great one. Luther's on the comeback. Andy's on the comeback after a long layoff. Let's get that on over 8 rounds.
Yeah, you're selling it, mate. You're selling it. You definitely got a gift for the gab, Dan.
Yeah, I tried, Joe.
So what were you saying? You were saying to me earlier, you've now got a young lady that's just joined on board as well. Welterweight, was that right?
Yeah, I've got she's not got a license yet, but I'm working with a lady called Kerry Haley, who's going to be a welterweight. She's just applied to the board. She's just waiting for a few things to go through. Excited to get involved with that as well. And yeah, like I say, I'm just looking to build now. Put a lot of time into Rylan Charlton, and I'm going to put a lot of time into Andrew. And the same when Kerry gets her license. And yeah, anyone else who wants to jump on board, I'll just put everything into it. I love boxing, love the sport, and love trying to do best by the fighters and just see how far we can take them.
Yeah, no, 100%, mate, 100%. And I think, you know, what you're doing, mate, you're onto something good already. You've got, you know, a good little stable building there already. You know, hats off to you, Dan. I think you're someone that's clearly got a passion for the game. You know, you've been there and done it yourself, so you know what a fighter's going through as well, and you know how they want to be treated. You know, because you're kind of, you know, you work for them, don't you? So it's, you know, that's how it is, isn't it? But what sort of, before you sort of head off, Dan, looking at sort of bigger stuff ahead, you know, there's obviously a couple of cards coming up with like Dillian Whyte and Povetkin. How are you looking at that one?
I think Povetkin's always going to be dangerous. I don't know how long he's going to box for. I wouldn't want to fight him in his 50s. I think he can always deliver that uppercut. But Dylan was unlucky that night. He got caught with an amazing shot. But a few people have said it was Povetkin setting it up all night. Maybe he was, but I don't think Dylan will make that mistake again. I think he'll stop him around round 5 this time.
Okay. Yeah. I think it's a toss of a coin, isn't it? It's one of those fights. It's almost Povetkin's last roll of the dice, really. I think if he loses that one, that's going to be a difficult one to sort of come back from. You know, he'll get some of the, you know, the lads coming up, won't he? And there's some other fights kind of there, but that's going to be the one that pushes that person into that prime spot, isn't it? So
yeah, he's just a tough man as well. Povetkin. I mean, I wouldn't want to meet him in the ring or outside the ring, to be honest with you. But he's never going to come and lay down, is he? Put it that way. He's a tough guy. But so is Dillian. So it's a good fight. And to jump straight back into a rematch like that after such a heavy knockout, that takes respect as well. Most fighters would come back, have a bedding in, have a fight just to get back onto it. But no, fair play to Dillian, jumping straight back in with someone who, let's have it right, poleaxed him in the first one. So respect to both the guys.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And if we go past that as well, you've got Billy Joe Saunders and Canelo. What do you think of that one? Bit tasty.
Yeah, it's a great one. I'm glad Billy Joe landed that. I mean, the build up, everything. Don't think the whole Canelo show will phase Billy Joe at all. I think he's made a different stuff. I don't think any of that will get under his skin. I don't know. I just think he does rise to the occasion, Billy Joe, the better the opponent. I just think Canelo is out there at the moment, and he's one of the pound for pound best superstars. Just think he'll have a little bit too much. I think he hits a little bit too hard, but he's not going to have it his own way. But I expect a late stoppage, and if it does go points, even if it's close, they're going to give it to Canelo. So full best of luck to Billy Joe, though. Great fighter. Got some good displays, and I think he will be the one who causes a few upsets, though, for Canelo. But I just don't think it'll be enough to do the job, unfortunately.
No, it's going to be a tough one. I think whoever gets in with Canelo, like you say, he's just every area of his game. It seems to go up a level, doesn't it, each time? He's scary, and you know, his shots to the body, and you know, his uppercuts the other day, they were crazy, to be honest.
That's the thing. He's improving as well. It's not he's got to a level. Seems to be improving. He's got loads of momentum, fighting all the time. And he seems to love it as well. He seems to relish on it and wants to be in there. So I mean, it's not like he needs the money, is it? He's worth X amount of millions, but yeah, he's a different class at the moment.
Yeah. Well, if we shoot just for the last one, I know I said the last one last time, but
right.
AJ Fury. Is it going to happen? And if it does, whose is it? And we can't sit on the fence, Dan. There's no sitting on the fence.
No. Always give an answer.
I've had loads of people sat on the fence, mate. Loads of people.
No, I'm always giving an answer. Look, AJ's done great things for the sport, great things for boxing, British boxing. But for me, I just think Fury is just a different level. I think he can box, he can punch, he's strong, he's big. I just think he'll be able to negate whatever Joshua does. Obviously, it's heavyweight boxing. One shot can end it. And I'm notorious for calling heavyweight boxing wrong as well. The amount of people who've asked me for tips and I've got it wrong. I think I promised someone.
Don't go to that.
I think I promised someone David Price was going to win a world title. So maybe I'm not the best guy for heavyweight boxing, but now Fury for me, late stoppage. I think he'll just break him down with a jab. AJ again is improving, but I just think Fury's just a better boxer and better all round, and we'll get a win there.
No, I think it's going to be one of those that you got to tune in for, regardless of how much of a price tag Eddie puts on it, because blimey, it's not going to be cheap, is it? And it's going to be a case of whether it's going to be over here as well, isn't it? That's going to be the other thing.
I think realistically, I just can't see it happening over here unless they can get a full stadium. Maybe if they can get a full stadium like Wembley, because otherwise I think we'll just get outbidded by other places. And the boys, they've worked hard their whole careers. They're gonna want the big bucks. Unless we have a full crowd of them.
And it's I think somewhere like that.
Yeah, I think somewhere like that will put up serious money that we just can't compete with. And you almost can't blame the boys for wanting to take the big purse and go out there.
No, definitely, mate. I think it's going to be it'll be a cracking fight regardless.
Yeah, get people talking. I know that.
No, I think that's one fight that we can easily say, whether you like boxing or not, people are going to be talking about it. People are going to be tuning in, and that's going to be the one, isn't it? That is just going to get possibly the world talking, really, because it's bigger than boxing, isn't it?
The whole build up, everything. It will be mega. It will be mega, and so many people have got so many mixed views on it. I think I don't know about the majority, but I think Fury would end up being a favourite with the bookies, but it will be close, and people will just be buzzing about it. I bet everyone's licking their lips. I think it will happen. There's been a lot of talking. I think it will happen. Obviously, there's so many little. I can't imagine the little details they've got to go over. So when people are pressurising Eddie Hearn to give us an answer, these things do take time, but I'm confident it'll happen this year.
Yeah, apparently the latest stumbling block, then it's not the money, the venues they're discussing at the moment, apparently, but the biggest stumbling block is whose name is going to be first.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's little things like that, but they take time, and no one wants to budge, because obviously AJ's made a massive name for himself.
Yeah.
Fury's won all the belts and made a massive name for himself. Why would you want to budge? If I was in their position, I'd be saying the same. I'd be saying that.
Wouldn't you just this is like on a personal thing now, but say like it was like Dan versus Joel, for example, which would never happen because you just beat me up anyway. But you'd think, surely just to get the fight over the line, you'd go, just let it happen.
I think me and you would sort it out. I just think their personality.
You'd just say Dan's going first, and I wouldn't have a say in it anyway, mate. That's
I just think their personalities. I just think they're just not gonna. Little things are gonna take time with these two, because they both know their worth. I think it would be Fury maybe is the first to say, look, let's just get this fight on. I think he says it a lot, but I genuinely think he is a fighting man. He wants the fight to happen, as I'm sure Joshua does as well, but we'll wait and see. I really don't care who comes in first. I just want to see that fight, as does I think everyone involved or not involved in boxing wants as well.
Yeah, no, definitely, mate. It's going to be quality when it happens. As I say, I think they were talking about June, which would possibly mean they'd have to get a move on with all the press conferences and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think it could, that's quite realistic, don't you think?
I don't know. We're already hit March. We're already hit March. I don't know. Like you say, with the build-up, June might be a bit.
It was a big.
I don't know.
Yeah. You think how long it took for Wilder and Fury? That was like a big build-up, wasn't it? So
yeah, I think June might be a bit optimistic. Yeah, I think maybe a little bit later, July, August time, would be more realistic. I think.
If you could manage one of them, Dan, who would you pick?
I feel like I'd get on better with Fury, but I feel like AJ would be easier to manage, I think. And there's more, I don't know, both great guys to work with. No, actually, I think Fury. I think Fury, because I think the party after the win would be amazing.
Oh, so, you wouldn't remember it.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Yeah.
Well, no, Dan, it's been a pleasure having you on, mate. And I wish you all the best for the future, mate. You've got a good thing going there, mate. And you've got my support. Anytime you want to pop on, give us an announcement, or get some of your fighters on, just give me a shout. But
cheers, Joel. Appreciate that, mate. Great stuff.
Yeah. And you take care of yourself, mate, especially during this weird time.
Yeah, and you, Joe. And
thanks for your time. Take care, Dan.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks,
take care. See you, mate. Bye.
See you later. Well, that was Dan Naylor, top guy. He's got big time ahead of him, and got some great fighters already. So I wish him all the best for the future. And you've been watching JG's Fight Talk as always, and sponsored by Rich's Boxing, Ring Smart, and Boxing Pin Badges. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you soon. Take care.